students. I believe you all have got your books, your new books from the school, as our school is distributing new books. If you haven't till the time, please go to the school after 7:30 and collect your books. You do not go, but you send your father with your school ID card and he can collect your book in behalf of you. And since I believe that you have got your books, so today we will start first chapter of your literature book, that is English Alive. And the first chapter is The New Teacher. It is written by Arthur Kavanagh. He is an American writer who was born in 1924 and died in 2009. He was an American novelist, playwright, best known for writing television drama throughout the 1950s. His literary career spanned the publishing of 4 novels, 2 memoirs, and over 50 short stories. Some of his better known pieces include Leaving Home, Missed Train, My Own Backyard, The Children Are Gone, and The Faithful. These are a few novels which he had written. And this story, The New Teacher, tells about a teacher, and it also tells that teaching is not just a work of art but a work of heart. It says that teaching is not just related to your mind, to a teacher's mind, related to a teacher's experience. It also relates to a teacher's heart as well, to a teacher's wisdom. You must have been taught by teachers who have inspired you. This story introduces us to a teacher who gives the impression of being a hard taskmaster and a disciplinarian, but actually loves teaching and believes in nurturing children with love. I'm sure you must have met some teacher, or maybe more than one teachers, who have inspired you, who have let you know, who have taught you about the life and importance of education in your life. In this chapter, The New Teacher, we will get to know about a teacher who is known as a hard taskmaster. A disciplinarian means a tough teacher, but actually loves teaching and wants to groom the children with love. Read on to find out if she is rewarded or criticized, and to know whether she is criticized or rewarded. We should read out this story. And the story begins here. It all began one Sunday afternoon. Young Roger Clark was explaining why he could go to Central Park with his father instead of finishing his spelling homework. Miss Wilson, his teacher, wouldn't be at school tomorrow. She has to take care of a crisis. Till Miss Wilson gets back, we will have another teacher. Miss Wilson flew to Omaha yesterday. I hope her plane doesn't crash, he said worriedly. As noisy and exuberant as any 8-year-old, Roger had another side, tender and soft. It says, on one fine Sunday at afternoon, he was trying to convince his father to take him to Central Park with him. And in the course of convincing him, he said to his father that though he has not completed his homework about spelling and all, and he is saying to his father कि Miss Wilson, who is the teacher, will not come to the school tomorrow because she has to get rid of an emergency, of a crisis. And to get rid of it, Miss Wilson flew to Omaha yesterday, and that's why another teacher will take place of her. He will or she will be teaching for a couple of days or maybe for the next week. He also hopes that his teacher's plane doesn't crash, and that shows his kindness, his love towards his teacher. Virginia Clark assured her son, "You will have Miss Wilson safely back before you know it." Roger beamed with relief. "Well, I like Miss Wilson. Last week, when Tommy Miller got tired of staying in his seat and lay down on the floor, Miss Wilson didn't mind. Pretty soon, the whole class was lying down, including Miss Wilson. St. Jeff's is fun." And when, after knowing the concern towards his teacher, her mother, told her कि your teacher, Miss Wilson, will be back soon and she will be safe and sound. Before you know, she will be back. And after hearing this, a smile came on his face, on Roger's face, to know that her teacher will be safe and sound and will be back soon. And he told, "Well, I like Miss Wilson. Last week, when one of his friends, Tommy Miller, got tired to sit in his seat, he laid down on the floor. And Miss Wilson is so good, is too good that she didn't, get angry on Tommy Miller. And pretty soon, very soon, all the class was lying on the ground, lying on the floor, all the students and Miss Wilson herself. "School isn't supposed to be a fun fest," snorted his sister. And when her sister knew it, she told with nosy voice. Snorted means when we try to tease our friends or our siblings, our brothers and sisters, with voice, with nose, with the help of nostrils. जब भी हम नाक से कुछ बात करते हुए अपने दोस्तों या अपने भाई बहनों को चिढ़ाते हैं, उस टाइप से उसकी बहन ने उसको बोला कि स्कूल isn't supposed to be a fun fest. School is supposed to, study over there. It is not supposed to be a playground or fun festival. "Miss Wilson got down on the floor," Mr. Clark repeated. And at the same time, his father, Mr. Clark, repeated his words only. He repeated the question. Mrs. Clark was lying down on the floor. I'm sure not every day is as frolicsome, Mrs. Clark countered anxiously. And after hearing this, her mother, Mrs. Clark, countered his father and told, I'm sure school day is not a fun game, a fun time every day. The school was permissive, yet quite homey. However, Roger's scholastic progress wasn't notable. His spelling, for example, remained atrocious. Friendly as St. Jeffries was, Mrs. Clark sometimes did wish. It says the school premises was permissive, was easygoing. They were not, hard to the kids, hard to the children, and it felt very much like home to the children, to the kids. However, Roger's scholastic progress wasn't notable. But what was the matter is Roger's progress was not notable. He was not doing well with his study. For example, his spelling remained atrocious. It was terrible. It was not so good as per his standard. So, I can go to the park with you, Dad? Roger asked. And after a pause, after a short pause, Roger asked again to his father, Dad, can I come with you to the Central Park? All right, but the minute we return, it is to your room to finish your spelling, Mr. Clark insisted. And then Mr. Clark insisted him that as soon as we will be back home, you will go to your room and finish your homework. You will finish your spelling work. Monday morning, school started off normally. Entering school, Roger skipped away eagerly to play before the 8:45 school bell. As usual, he had packed a supply of baseball cards for trading opportunities, a spool of string in case anybody brought a kite, a water pistol for possible use in the lavatory, and a police whistle for sheer noise value. And when on Monday morning Roger reached to his school, he skipped away to the playground so that before 8:45 bell, 8:45 morning bell, prayer bell, or you can say assembly bell, he could play with his friends. And he had bought supply of baseball cards, a bundle of baseball cards for exchange, to exchange with his friends for some toys or something else. He had also brought a spool of string. वो तार का स्पूल कहते हैं, लटाई जो आप लोग देखते होंगे ना, जो पतंग उड़ाने के लिए जो लकड़ी का बना हुआ होता है, जिसमें हम धागा लपेटते हैं चारों तरफ से, that is called spool. He had brought a spool of string, तार की बनी हुई लटाई थी, वो लेके आया था वो, in case anybody brought a kite, and he was hopeful that if any of his friends could bring a kite, then he could exchange it with some toys or something like that. A water pistol for possible use in the lavatory, and he had also brought a water pistol to use in toilet lavatory. for fun, obviously, and a police whistle for sheer noise value. And with all these toys, he had brought a police whistle as well to make some noise. As the bell rang, Roger's class swarmed up the stairs in rollicking spirits. And when the bell rang at 8:45, all his classmates rushed to the classroom. "Hey, what's going on?" Jimmy Murray demanded as the front ranks reached the classroom. Instead of a cozy semicircle as usual, the desk and chairs had been rearranged in stiff, rigid rows. And when all of the students, their group, reached to the classroom, one of his friends, Jimmy Murray, asked to them, "Hey, what's going on? Why all these benches and desks are rearranged in rows? Why isn't it is in semicircle shape?" As if in answer to his question, he heard two hands clap behind him, as loud and menacing as thunder. "You are not cattle milling in a pen. Come, form into lines." But instead of to get an answer, instead of getting an answer, he heard, actually all of the students heard a clap, a very loud clap like a thunder. And they saw their teacher. She was saying, "You are not cattle milling in a pen. Come from into lines." And she was saying, "You are not animals who are moving in circle. Okay, come and form a line." Her heads turned in unison, mouths fell agape as each child stared at the lady with rimless spectacles, tall and straight as a ruler, clothed in an ancient tweed suit. She bore a potted plant in one arm and Miss Wilson's roll book in the other. Her hair was grey like a witch's, as were her eyes. And when they heard the sound, all heads turned in unison. All heads turned in the direction of the voice, and they saw with their open mouths that a lady was standing at the gate. She was wearing a rimless spectacle, tall and straight as a ruler. She was thin and a tall lady, clothed in an ancient tweed suit, and she was wearing an old-fashioned suit, an old-fashioned dress. She bore a potted plant in one arm and Miss Wilson's roll book in the other. And she was carrying a pot, and a plant was planted in that pot, and she was also carrying roll book in her another hand. Her hair was grey like a witch, as were her eyes, and her hair was grey, which was looking dreadful, and so were her eyes. उनकी आंखें भी बहुत भयानक थी, बहुत डरावनी थी. Okay guys, this was 2 pages of your first chapter. The rest part we will study in our next video. Thank you very much.